Hey now, Adam Reaver, fu-tone.com, continuing the Less Crappier remake series of videos. Today, I'm going to answer a technical question that I get asked almost every day, and it has to do with springs. How many springs, what position of springs, what grade of springs. As you know, we make them in different tensions. Obviously, we make the noiseless springs, very important. So if you take your guitar with regular springs and chug it once, you'll hear the springs kind of rattle out. These springs are noiseless and quiet, doesn't muddy your signal chain. But the point of today's video is, how many springs do I need? How do I set my bridge to float properly? And how to do a bridge float reset. I'm going to show you a little easy trick that will save years off of your life. So I'm going to set this guitar up a couple of different ways, floating each time, but I'm going to use a different amount and kind of springs and positions, all against the same strings and tuning. And you'll see you have lots of options in how to get there. A good way to think about this is think of the scales of justice. Think of a pendulum scale. So on one side of the scale, if you had 5 pounds of rocks, and on the other side of the scale, you could put 5 pounds of feathers, 5 pounds of pennies, 5 pounds of anything. 5 pounds will equal 5 pounds. It's your string gauge and tuning versus the spring tension. And they have to balance to keep your bridge level to the body. I'm going to set this guitar up a few different ways. I'm going to set it up with different springs, different amounts of springs, all floating. And I'm also going to show you how to do the refloat reset, which is pretty simple too, which will save lots of time in your setups. Let's check it out. First thing I'm going to do is block the bridge just for now. The way I do it is the space between the block and the wood in here, I'll put something in there. I'll put a screw in there. I'll put tape around a wrench to find the right size. But I want to block the bridge just for now so it's level to the body. So in this case, I'm going to just put this little wrench right in that area. You can see that the bridge is level to the body. This is what I'm going to call ground zero. And for the sake of my setup, I'm going to put extra tension against the block we put here. You can do this a couple ways. You can tighten the claw to pull the springs tighter. You can throw an extra spring on just for the time being, just for your setup if you like. Let's do both. See how easy that was? fu-tone spring pull tool. So now I have so much tension, an enormous amount of tension pulling the block this way. I'm going to turn it back over. At that point, you do your tuning, your intonation, your setup, anything you want to do. Let's tune this guitar to standard. All the tuning is done. I'm going to lock the nut. I'm going to fine tune. Okay, the guitar is tuned and locked where I want it. The bridge is still blocked. What I'm going to do is remove the extra spring and the block, meaning my little wrench, and the bridge is going to be pulled very far sharp. Don't panic. This is where the trick comes in. So watch this. Spring out. Temporary block out. Here's the trick. Remember, everything was in tune at ground zero. I'm going to get you back to ground zero. The way I'm going to do it is I'm going to hold the guitar like this. First, I'm going to put the screwdriver right there. With my left hand, I'm going to pluck the A string. With my right hand, I'm going to turn the claw screws. And what I'm going to do is follow the tuner back to A. When A is in tune, it's at ground zero, everything's in tune. Check it out. Really sharp. As soon as A is in tune, you'll see the bridge is level to the body, right back to ground zero where we were. And you're in tune. Now, let's get back to 5 pounds equals 5 pounds. Let's change this setting again. Same tuning, same strings. We currently have 2 heavy-duty noiseless springs in there. Let's try this. Let's set it up with 3 black springs. I'm going to put my wrench back in place. Check that I'm level to the body, base plate. And I'm going to add a little extra tension, completely in tune, locked at the nut. Let's go back to the back. I'm going to pop out my wrench. Bridge is going to go sharp again. Get myself in position. Pluck the A string. Tune it with the screwdriver. Follow the A string back to ground 0. You'll see the bridge is level to the body again. Ground 0. In tune, floating, 3 black springs. Let's try it again. Something else. Okay, just for fun. You have 1 angled black, 1 straight purple, 1 red straight. You can do any combination of any springs anywhere as long as it will equal your string tension. Let's try this one. Lock in there. Extra tension. Tune your guitar. In tune. Pop this out. I'm going to tune my A string by adjusting the claw screws. Follow the tuner back to A, ground 0, bridge is level again. In tune. There you have it. So, the myth, how many springs? I only use 2, I only use 4. If you're floating, 5 pounds equals 5 pounds. You can get there any way you want. So there's no right answer. Find your way. Experiment with this. Personally, I like to use the least amount of springs I can for the same reason we make noiseless springs. So we want it quiet. We want as little in there as we can, but do what you like. There's no rules here. You know that. fu-tone.com, noiseless springs, scales of justice, rock and roll.